Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. In this live stream, we'll be continuing development on No Place Like, the open source JavaScript platformer shooter game. Tonight, our focus is on the Angular aim and shoot logic, as it has been for the past few sessions. And if we have time, specifically on getting the aiming to work tonight, just the aiming with the mouse and getting the arms to move the gun to point at the mouse. And then if we also have time, we'll continue on and we'll get the shooting working as well. So without further ado, let's get started. So, don't need that open anymore. Don't need that. Close without saving. Okay, cool. So, first things first, I guess would be to boot up our game and just make sure that all is still well. I don't see why it shouldn't be, because I haven't messed with anything since the last stream. Oh, probably would help if we were in the right directory though. Apparently I did comment out something, but that's all. Boom. Start up our dev server. And just hopefully there's no explosive crashing. Ready with the Control-Shift-J as always. Just to watch the console and make sure that the stream doesn't crash, because I've done that a few times now. Welcome, viewer. Okay, here we go. Any exploding errors? Let's see. Looking good. Beautiful. Oh, well, we got a 404 on the favicon, but that's it. Not bad. So, character doesn't flip around anymore, but he does hold the gun correctly, and that gun is, the character is now extending the container class instead of the sprite class. So he's actually a collection of several little bits and pieces instead of just one image. So his arms are separate images, and the gun is a separate image, and then his body, head, and legs are all a singular sprite. So, first things first in this episode is just to kind of get acquainted with where we were last time. I call it an episode. I don't know if that's really the right term for this, but this stream anyways. So, first thing I want to do is have a look in here and just see what we were doing last. So MC Africa Fight, because it's the fight version of him, because we're going to have two separate versions of the sprite, both the sort of passive version where he can't shoot and his arms move automatically, and the container, the fight version, which is the container version, the version extending the container, that is, where he aims at the mouse and is ready to shoot. So now if I remember correctly, last time we were having a little bit of weirdness around getting the center X and Y coordinates, although I think that weirdness was probably due to me not having enough rest, or just generally being in a weird headspace. So anyways, just testing those out. Those numbers should be approaching 0 the closer we get to the center of his body. Yeah, so that's pretty close. Around his waist in the middle is close to 0. Good. So as far as I'm concerned, we have the sprite's center X and the sprite's center Y. We've also got the mouse pointer X and the mouse pointer Y. So now is the time to bust out that old school, high school math. Old school, high school? The math, anyways. The trigonometry that I so am not a pro at, but anyways, I'm gonna do my best here, and let's get a few things up for reference first of all. So let's have a look at we want a unit circle. That'll be helpful for figuring out our radians and all that fun stuff. Where was that picture? Oops. I want that picture. There we go. This is good. Image, a new tab. All right, so this is what we're dealing with for the unit circle. So now, yeah, time to figure out some trigonometry. For that, I'm gonna need a piece of paper. Give me 1 second. Alrighty, so piece of paper, check. Unit circle, check. Next step is to do some math. Goodness, Lord forbid. Okay. So, and by do some math, I mean we're gonna Google how to do some math, and then we're gonna figure it out. So, got our unit circle open, that's good reference for us. Let's see how to calculate the angle between 2 points. And look at that, Stack Overflow to the rescue. Calculating the that's fine. Calculating the angle between the line defined by 2 points. That's what we want. So double angle equals atangent 2 Had a need for similar functionality myself, so after much hair pulling, I came up with the function below. Looks good. Let's see. So he's returning it as degrees. We're probably going to keep it as radians because I'm pretty sure Phaser mainly deals in radians for rotating stuff. So we start by getting the delta x and the delta y. Screen point x, M center. I suppose that's mouse center. Minus to correct for coordinate remapping. This seems like a quite specific example. Oh, here we go. This is looking a little more like what we're looking for right here. This 1,1 to 2,2 business. So, yeah, delta x, or delta y, delta x, and then, cool. If that's really all it is, then this might actually be a lot simpler than I thought. Could be rad. So let's have a look here. So we'll, are we in the update function or are we in the create function? No, we're in the update, cool. So, doesn't matter if he's touching the ground because he's always going to be pointing at the mouse. Actually, you know, I don't really need the paper and pencil after all right now. Might need it in a bit though, so no harm, no foul. So aim gun at the mouse. So const delta x equals sprite center x minus mouse pointer dot x. We're going to do the same with the y. So const delta y. Maybe just shorten that to dx and dy. Should be fine. Sprite center y minus mouse pointer dot y. Good. So we have the delta x and we have the delta y. Next step is just to run that through math.atangent2, apparently. and that gives us the result. I imagine that gives us the angle in radians. We'll find out. So rad equals math dot a10 a10. I'm not sure what the a10-2, that looks to be right. So dx dy, dy. Let's just console log that bad boy and see what we come up with. Now radians are a little bit trickier to understand, at least for myself, than degrees, so... But, let's see. So that would be 0... Oh no, sorry, here we go. Pi over 2. So, you know, why don't we just convert it to degrees just temporarily, just so we can see the difference here. Just so we can actually, you know, understand what we're looking at. Because for me, radians aren't super intuitive, and I have a hard time looking at the decimals and understanding exactly what that angle is supposed to be. So let's just look up JavaScript radians 2 degrees. Uh-oh, why is the browser crashing? Maybe it wasn't, maybe it's just a slow site, but I get I'm a little on edge about that ever since I've crashed a few streams now. Angle in radians equals angle in degrees times pi divided by 180. Okay. So, maybe we should just look up convert radians to degrees. So I don't remember how to do this. 1 radian times 180 divided by pi. Okay, so it's times 180 divided by pi. So console.log radians times 180 divided by math.pi. Let's see what that gives us. Let's have a look. We might need to absolute this because it's seeming to be negative a lot, but okay, cool. So that's at the top is kind of like is hovering around 0. This should be 90 right out in front of them. Yep. 180. Pretty close. I mean, it's negative, but still 180. Oh, and then back to 90. Interesting. I would expect that to go all the way around to 270, but in our case, I think that's actually going to be fine. So, yeah, 0, 90, 180, more or less. So I think our calculation is correct. Welcome, viewer. So now that we have the radians between the center of the character and the mouse, we can rotate his arm by those radians. Let's just see what happens. Now remember, I believe the function was what? Set rotation? I mean, that would make sense. Yep, set rotation. And we are assigning all these bits to their own variables. Good. So let's see here. We'll say this dot MC arm left dot set rotation rad. This dot MC arm right dot set rotation rad. And now I think we're probably going to have to offset these by the stuff that we defined up here, what we're rotating them by to get everything started. But that's okay. For now, this is probably going to look a little wild, but it might work out. This dot, what do we call the gun? Bolt pistol. Bolt pistol dot set rotation rad. Cool. So that should be everything we need to rotate. It's probably going to look wild right now, but it's okay. We'll see if it's rotating. Hey, and it is. Look at that. We obviously need to adjust the offsets, right? But look at that. We move the mouse, and indeed, his arms and the gun all rotate accordingly. So now let's just figure out those offsets, which actually we already did at the top. So we basically just have to make these offsets constants, same way we did with body width and height. So let's say const MC arm left offset equals, now where did we actually set all that stuff? Equals math, or that's bolt pistol, isn't it? We want, oh, we didn't even set one for the arm left and right. Okay, well let's start with the bolt pistol offset equals this bad boy right here, math.pi divided by 2.17, very specific. So we'll say bolt pistol, let's just do them one at a time, shall we? Bolt pistol offset, kaboom. Now, we need to assign that to a class variable, whatever it's called, private variable. I'm not really 100% sure on the terminology, but anyways, bolt pistol offset equals bolt pistol offset. And then way down here, we're gonna say bolt pistol is radians plus this dot bolt pistol offset. Now if we've got the gun pointing in the right direction, we know it's working. Not quite. Okay, let's try minus perhaps. Still not quite. Now, okay, let's actually think about what we're doing here for a minute. So that offset was to offset it, yeah, now right, this offset isn't actually what we want to hold on to, I don't think. This offset is just the initial offset to get it to, That's because, yeah, okay, so what's going on here is that offset is actually just to get it to this position, not that position, this position, to get it pointing straight down, which is not actually, so that would be basically plus another math.pi, I suppose. No, hold on. Math.pi is what? Is it 180? Or is, yeah, I think pi radians is 180, right? Is that right? No, that's... yeah, pi radians is 180 degrees. Okay, so what happens if we do it like this? What happens if we say... ditch that entirely. Just 2.17. Not quite what we're going for. Let's see. This is where it would be really nice if I was better at math, but alas, I'm not. So we effectively want it to start here, and we just want to offset everything by whatever offsets need to be offsetted because of the image, if that makes any sense at all. Each image has a different starting rotation. So like the arms, I think, start facing down, whereas the gun starts facing like maybe that way. So what if we do, let's see, so if the gun starts here, we want it to start effectively there. So we need to backstep, what would that be, pi? No, pi over 2? Yeah, we need to, okay, let's try pi over 2. Or is that is basically what we were trying before. Okay, let's see. Pi over 2, see what that looks like. Still not really what we're going for. Maybe it's not actually, because when we're pointing straight up, it is effectively where we want it to be pointing, but then it seems to rotate the wrong direction, actually, instead of following. That seems to be the real problem that's going on right now. So I'm thinking maybe we need to make our radians negative. What happens if we do that? Negative radians minus bolt pistol offset. See if that does anything. Again, math knowledge would be nice. Hey, look at that. That's pretty close. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close. And I think we actually had that figured out before. It was like 2.17 or something. So let's try that. 2.17. And maybe that'll be bang on what we're looking for. Where was my rotating logic here? Cool. Save that. Bring it on back. Let's see if it's now pointing pretty close to right at the mouse. It would be cool to draw like a line to the mouse, but although I'm also seeing that the gun is now pretty far away from his hands, so I'm not really sure what that's all about, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Point is, he's kind of doing weird, you know, backwards, I don't know, he's making some weird poses here, but he is rotating the gun. The gun is pointing at the mouse, basically. I'm gonna give us a little bit more room for the next reload. Let's see here, try that again. I say that's close enough. And we can still move, and it should still be relative to... Cool. Looking good. All right. So now we've got a couple things we need to figure out. We need to, A, get the arms rotating correctly as well, which is just a matter of figuring out the offsets. And then also we need to get the gun to actually be like in his hands instead of like way far away from his hands, but one step at a time. So first let's get the arms rotating the right way. So that could just be as simple as saying negative radians, but it probably won't be. Let's just try it. Okay, yeah, so we need negative, so it is negative radians, but we need to offset it so that it's not his shoulder pointing at the mouse, that it's the his hands. So that looks like just as simple as going like this. We'll make another offset, so we'll say this one is going to be the MC arms offset equals, excuse me, math.pi, because I believe math.pi is the equivalent of 180 degrees with my tiny little knowledge of math. This dot MC arms offset equals MC arms offset. Boom. All right. Now run it back down here to our rotational logic, and we'll say minus this dot MC arms offset. Same thing for his other arm. Boom. See how this works. What we're hoping for is the gun floating a little way. Yeah, there we go. Although it seems like the gun is kind of doing, because look, he's holding it correctly there. Oh dear, this might be a little bit trickier than I thought. Why is it so far away on that side, but then down here it's fine? Maybe it's a matter of the X and Y origin points. Maybe I'm only setting one of them or something. Let's see. What am I doing up here in the initialization? Yeah, set origin. No, I am setting the X and Y. Although, yeah, but now I'm thinking, what if we just set them all to be the same? Let's just try that. I feel like this won't work, but you never know. Try setting them all to be the same, and then let it reload. Yeah, so not quite. That's not exactly what we're going for, but okay. We might have to resort to some even funkier math if all else fails. But okay. Let's see here. Because like what I'm thinking is if this doesn't work, we might, coming back to our unit circle, have to set the actual X and Y, like just set the origin point of the gun to be its handle, whatever, and then use our unit circle math to actually determine the X and Y position around the outside of the circle of his hands, get the X and Y position, and then reposition them. Can you mount the gun on the hand like a turret? Asks X Killer Knight. I mean, it's an idea. We could possibly do something like that. Although for this particular character, I was hoping to have him just holding a pistol, pretty standard. You know, just point at the mouse rather, and aim and shoot that way. But definitely something we can look at adding in the future. Having a mounted gun on the hand, and maybe he just holds his hand straight up, and then the gun aims in whatever direction. I don't know. That could be cool. My hope is that we could set the origin point to basically be his shoulder, and then have the actual position of the gun more out towards his hands, and then it would just sort of work out the angle itself. That was my hope, but I'm not 100% sure if that's gonna work properly, so let's just put it back to what it was. Computer's a little slow tonight. I wonder what's going on. Because that does work, but I'm thinking its origin point must be kind of here. Which is... oh, I guess you can't really... oh, you can actually see. Anyways. Yeah, so if its origin point is kind of around there... yeah, I think... okay. Because it works down here at this level. That's effectively how we want him to be holding it, is like that, but around for the entire rotation. Okay. Caffeine solves all problems. I'm just gonna fiddle around with the origin point a little bit. I'm not gonna get too fixated on it. I'm just gonna see if it works, see if we can get it to work, and then go from there. So I'm just thinking now. So the default origin point would be, like, if we don't set it at all, watch what happens. Watch it just work if we don't set it at all. That would be nice, but yeah, so if we don't set it at all, it just defaults to being right there in the corner. But what we want, just got another thought here. I wonder if it's just a matter of positioning it in the right spot and also setting the origin point. Because I haven't actually repositioned it, I don't think. Let's just confirm that, but I don't think so. Yeah. So let's see. Bolt pistol. Oh, sorry, my bad. We are or actually, no, we're not. We're setting the position up here as 0, 0. So what if we set the position to be the same as his arms? And then, yeah, I think this must be the way. This, I bet you we're going to be able to get it to work doing it this way. Shouldn't the origin point be on his shoulder? Exactly. X-Killer Knight, you nailed it, good sir. I think that is exactly where it should be. So now, it's going to look weird, but yeah, okay. So now we just need that to offset it, get the origin, push it from the origin point a little bit so that it's touching his hands. But we're getting close, look at that. So, I bet you the, I don't know. Let's just play around with it. Like start here and we'll say go up by, set the origin point to 1. Probably gonna have to set it further than 1, but we'll see what happens. Oh, wrong way. Okay, so -1. So we want -1 and more like -1 point, let's say 5. All right. Oh, a little too far. A little too far, but the space between his hands, note that the space between his hands and the gun is not really changing a heck of a lot now. Perfect. That's what we want to see. Let's try like 2.5. Still not quite. More like maybe 1. Still not. Okay. Interesting. Maybe it is just 1 point, -1. I mean. Oh, that's so close. Very, very close. We are going to need to work out a little bit of an offset, I think, but let's say negative, I don't know, 0.8. See how that looks. That's pretty close. Yeah, now we just need we're also going to need to get a rotational offset a little bit, just slightly up so that it's touching his hands, but that is very close. Okay. Just maybe dial it back even slightly more. No, you know, that's actually pretty close. I'm going to leave it at that, and yeah, we need to set that rotational offset a little more. Oh, we've already got a variable for it, bolt pistol offset. Oh yeah, and this is like old news, so pi divided by, I don't know, like 1, let's just say, see what pi divided by 2 looks like, pi over 2. Oh, close. Looks like he's holding the very the top of the gun now. So like pi divided by 1.8. Let's see what that looks like. I'm sure this is all stuff we could actually calculate like to the T and like properly, but hey, that's not bad. Cool, looking good to me. Not bad. Bang, 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 bang. Except I think we want to bring it, all of it, down. So instead of math.py, let's say I don't know if I'm doing this the right way, but we will find out soon enough. Because it's not pointing quite at the mouse, it's pointing a little bit up from the mouse, so I want to try and get it down. Well, that's close. That's about right for the gun. We just need, I think I made the arms go the wrong way, so divided by what, like 1.2 now instead? Again, if I actually knew what I was doing for math, this would be like a breeze, but I don't, so, oop, too far. Let's say 1.1. Hey, look at that, that's looking pretty solid. I mean, obviously we're going to have him flip around eventually. He's not just going to be like doing a huge stretch, but point is, it is basically working, and it is pointing pretty much at the mouse. It's still a little high maybe, but I'm not going to get too fixated on that. The point is it's working. Cool, you know what, that's awesome. We got that done in like half an hour. I was expecting that to take way longer, so I think we can move on to the shooting shortly here, which is sweet. Make up for some of those pretty rough streams I was having before. Let's see, so I guess, yeah, let's get it so that he flips around. Now, the thing is, the sprite object has a really handy little flip X function that works really well. However, container doesn't seem to have that, so I'm going to look up what the equivalent of that for container is. Phaser 3 container flip X. Sprite flipping and depth sorting, not exactly. Why don't we just try flip X and see if it works? Because if it works, then we don't need anything. But now the logic for this is going to be, oh lord, where's our rotational logic? I can't read. Here we go. Aim gun at mouse, and we'll say flip character if flip character to face mouse. How about that? How about that? So we'll say if mouse pointer dot x greater than sprite center x. So if it's greater than, so actually we'll start with if it's less than. If it's less than the sprite center x, then we flip it. This dot I guess just this, right? Would it be this dot? Yeah, this is where it gets a little bit, I'm not sure if this is, I'm not sure on this syntax. This is a little bit of a syntax guessing game at this point, but we'll say set flip x true. And the other way around logic is pretty straightforward, else this dot set. So you know what we can do? Just make this a ternary and just go like this. We don't need all the if statements, we can clean that up real nice. One line that. Except I'm thinking that function does not exist. So, yep. No luck on that one. Close that, just I've crashed a few streams now by having like the error log just running constantly, so I'm just going to be a little cautious on that. Let's try maybe this dot body. Still no. Okay. Oh, hold on. It's still saying this dot. Did it update? Try reloading that. Yeah, this dot body is not a function either. Darn. Okay, well, then to the documentation we go, I dare say. Name object sprite. So let's see. Set flip x. So this is looking to be a function of sprites, not containers. Well, of sprites, maybe of containers. We'll soon to be defined. We'll figure that out. Sets the horizontal flip state of the game object. Oh, although don't containers extend game objects as well? Aren't they game objects? I don't know. Let's see. Phaser3 docs, container. Alright. Yeah, flip comes up with nothing here, so we might have to flip this the old school way, as in reversing making the x scale negative. That's how we did that before that handy function. Let's just see x scale. Okay. That might be a more primitive. That might come from game objects. Let's see. Or, oh, game objects is just a collection of classes. Let's see. Let's use their search. How about x scale? Okay, let's use Google search. Phaser3 x scale. Container height and width. Okay, maybe. I think get size refers to the body, but we want scale. Yeah, okay, so this dot scale x looks like what we're looking. So set scale x perhaps. So yeah, I think let's just keep it simple for now, keep our if statements and all that. But we'll say, so if the mouse pointer is x is greater than the sprite center x, we'll say not flip x, because that doesn't exist, sadly. Set scale x is negative this dot scale x. That's what it was, right? Scale x, yep. Now, we might have to refer to the body here instead of this, but we'll see if this works first. Yeah, this dot scale x is not a function. Okay. Let's try body. This dot body. And if this isn't a function, we're going to have to resort to a fair bit more Googling, I'm afraid. And I'm thinking it didn't update again, so let's try and update that. Body.setScaleX is not a function. Shoot. Okay, you know what we're gonna do here? Instead of Googling, we're gonna debug it. We're gonna debug it like true debuggers. We're gonna say console. Well, I say true debuggers. This probably isn't the true debugger way of doing it, but console.log this, and we're gonna poke around in our console and have a look at what is accessible to us. And there is scale X. Okay. And yet we don't have a setter function, hey? That's funny. Oh, we have a set scale function, but we don't have a set scale X function. Okay, interesting. Let's try and do it with a set scale function. Scale Y in this case is going to be totally unchanged, so we can just pass in scale Y. And it should, in theory, work. Oh, but we should, yeah, we got to rename the function because that function doesn't exist. All right, fingers crossed, here we go. No errors, that's a good sign. And hey, he's pointing the right way, so... Ooh, he's kind of freaking out, but it's almost working. Oh dear. Okay, so I mean, it's... Oh, but his body... No, that's not good. The physics body's all messed up too. Like, see, we can be standing right off the edge now. That's not really what we want. Shit. To Google. Flipping sprites of a group. That sounds what we want. Oh, interesting. You'd have to set the property on all of them individually. Okay, we can do that. That works. All right, cool. So that might be a way to go. Let's see if this works. So we just have to iterate over all the children of the container and flip each one of them individually. So this dot children dot in theory. This.mygroup.children.each. Okay, yeah. Hey, shout out for the follow, X-Killer Knight. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And then set it back and give that a go. Uh-oh, okay. So each doesn't work, so maybe just for each. I was a little suspicious of that, actually, believe it or not. Oh, interesting. Saying that, okay. Just comment those out for a second, but I think this is the logic we're going for. Just need to get the right syntax. This dot, well, let's just say this again and see what children actually looks like. Or where our children reside. Would children be? Yeah, so children doesn't exist. Okay, so that's what it was yelling at us about. So fair enough, children doesn't exist, but how do we access those? Parent container? I don't think so. What do we want? We want, like, nodes? child nodes, something along those lines. Oh, display list, maybe? What is that? Let's just look it up. How to access Phaser3 container children. Accessing a container's children, Phaser3. That's exactly what we want. What you are looking for is container.list. Aha, container.list, hey? Is that the case? CD list, there we go. Hey, perfect. All right. All right, cool, so, boink, boink. It's late for me, nice place to chill, good luck on your project. Thanks, X-Killer Knight, have a good night. Hope to see you again in the future. No errors, good sign. Hey, look at that, it's almost working. It's just that we're flipping the gun the wrong way too. Okay, so we just need to do that, but not on the gun, I guess. So, how can we differentiate the gun from all the other children, I wonder? And actually, now that I think about it, we don't really want his arms to flip either. Or, yes we do. Yeah, okay, so arms flipping is a good thing, but gun flipping, not so much. Sounds good, X-Killer Knight. Cool. Let's just log this out again. List. So it is just an array of each object. We've got 2 sprites and 2 images. So the images would be the arms, the sprites would be both his body and the gun. So I guess we just need to mark the gun somehow and then just tell it to check and then just have a, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll mark the gun and we'll just have a check in the, inside this function here where we're flipping the X saying, you know, if it's the gun, don't flip it. If it's anything else, flip it. So we need to do it before the super call. So bolt pistol, let's say bolt pistol dot is gun, I guess. I don't know. Or let's describe it like what we want it to do functionally. So let's say prevent rotate or prevent flip. Flip equals true. Prevent flip is true. So now we should, in theory, be able to go like this and say, oops, not like that, like this, if child dot prevent flip. So if it's not preventing the flip, then we flip it. I swear this all makes sense. And I guess we don't actually need to do anything in that function technically. So just in that one, cool. Oop. Oh, you know what? We do need to flip. Oh, but we need to flip the Y, I guess. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, sure. So Yeah, maybe isGun would have been a better descriptor for that, but whatever. We'll work with this for now. So yeah, I'm just going to change this to isGun. That, to me, makes more sense in this scenario, because, yeah. So, isGun. Oops, we want Control F, prevent flip. Let's change that to isGun. isGun. And so if it is the gun, we want to do the same thing, but instead of flipping the X, we're going to set flip Y true. In my mind, this all works. Child dot set flip Y false. In my mind, this works. We'll see if the computer agrees with me. Boom, aiming at the gun. Hey, look at that. His grip is a little bit off, but other than that, oh, actually his shoulders are way off. I just noticed that. That's kind of funny. But I guess that would be because, that must be because the origin points are kind of wacky or something. But that is still pretty close. Whee! Now I can do the moonwalk. I mean, I guess we could always just kind of make the necessary adjustments in there, and I guess the cleaner solution would be to actually figure out the proper origin point, but I think we're gonna do the dirty solution for now. That'll work for me. And that means we can move on to the shooting logic, which is going to be fun. So let's see. So if we're flipping it, what else are we going to do to it? If it's not a gun, then it's either, oh man, but then that does mean we have to target each little piece individually. That's not exactly ideal. You know what, I'm going back on that, what I said. Let's try and figure out the origin point correctly. So, it's not too far off, it's just kind of... Yeah, it's pretty close. We just need to back it up a little bit on this side. It'd be great if there was a way to show the origin point. I'm just going to look up if there's any debug stuff that lets us do that. Maybe not. Still, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's, I've got a plan of how we can, plan of attack of how we can figure this all out. Actually, copy that, comment that, paste that, oops, not that, that, uncomment these two, and now let's just set everything to 0, 0. So this way everything's going to be placed in the top left corner of the container instead of these offsets that we've figured out for them. Yeah, a little funny looking, but it does work. And actually, aside from the grip being a little off-centered again, it is pretty much, oh, it's pretty close to perfect, isn't it? So what if we go, instead of the origin point being 0.6, what if we say 0.5 on the X? That in theory should be right in bam smack in the middle. Pretty close. Actually, in terms of, even though we're not aiming correctly, I think that is already looking better. So we can figure out the actual aiming offsets in a minute here, but that to me is looking better. It's still a little high on the gun, which is probably because we're setting the origin for that. Oh, but that's because, yeah, shoot, we've got this. It's because they're all rotate, like all the natural images are rotating in different directions and they don't all line up. So really, I think the proper solution to this would be to make all the images actually line up properly. But since it's a little bit more complicated than that, unfortunately, because the arms are images, but the gun is a sprite. So, yeah, not sure about that. Would be really cool to get that animation working on the gun too. I don't know why that wasn't working last time. Maybe we can take a brief moment looking at that after we get this sorted out. So I am quite happy with that for the arms. Just, he is still just gripping it a little bit high, but I think that's a matter of the gun, not the arms. So yeah, maybe if we adjust the, because what if we have just, what does 0.5 look like for starters? I think I know, but just for the sake of sanity, sanity checking, let's just have a look. Yeah. Okay. Ooh, I have a theory. What if we do that, but halfway on the Y, and then, in theory, it's not going to be positioned right just yet. The positioning is going to be kind of messed up, but, oh, yeah, no, not quite. That's not it. Okay, well, you know what? Why don't we just do the dirty solution for now and uncomment that. And we can identify, because we just need to change the origin of the gun, and we've already identified the gun with a variable. This, hey JL, how's it going? It's coming along pretty good, man. Thanks for joining us. You're tuning in at a funny moment. Things are a little bit messed up, but we have the gun so that you can aim with the mouse and flip around, and we're just getting it so everything lines up nicely when you flip to either side. See, it's a little bit messed up there, but it's getting there. Do a moonwalk off the edge. So let's see here. Thanks, man. So what I'm thinking is, first of all, we need to adjust the bolt pistol offset a little bit. Let's try putting it at 2.17 again. That seems to be a magic number before, so that's why I keep going to that. Just have a look here. That's pretty close. Maybe a little more than that though. Let's say 2.2. Or maybe 2.22. How's that look? So I want his hands to be kind of like just covering the trigger. And that didn't really change it much. What if we change it a little bit more dramatically, like 2.5? What's that look like? Might be too far, but we'll find out. Actually, 2.5 is pretty close, pretty bang on. Maybe a little bit less than that, like 2.4, how about? There we go, 2.4 is looking like the sweet spot for this side. Now for this side, oh hey, 2.4 is actually pretty close. I mean, it's not, well, it's close, but it's not actually pointing directly at the mouse, which is kind of a problem. So, okay, yeah, let's just figure out, we'll say bolt pistol offset right, and we'll make another one for left. Bolt pistol offset right, right, left, left, and gotta actually use these variables too. So down here we'll say bolt pistol, actually we'll move this logic entirely. We'll say, so if the mouse pointer is on the left side, we'll say, and if child is gun is true, then we'll say, boom. Or actually, you know what, we don't need to have this, that is kind of confusing things, so we don't need that logic to be inside of that loop. Just put it here. You can say, set rotation, bolt pistol offset left. And if it's on the right side, bolt pistol offset right. Cool. So now we just have to fiddle around with these offsets until we get it more or less what we want. Ooh, uh-oh, bolt pistol offset is not defined, line 53. Except that's not really going to be line 53, is it? Maybe it will be. No, it's not. That's the transpiled line 53, so what is it actually talking about? Oh, the initialization, right, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, right here. Initialize it to the right offset. Okay, so there's left, or right rather, and left. I'm kind of thinking, as much as it is going to be annoying, we might have to do it for the arms as well. Because the arms aren't pointing quite, yeah, we want the arms and everything to be down a little bit. Oh, maybe we just want the arms to be down. Yeah, I think it's just the arms that we want. Because, or no, we want everything to rotate down a little more, my bad. So let's see. Flip character to face mouse. So let's fiddle with the gun offset first. So the left is going to be, let's say, divided by, I think it would be less, right? So 2.1. Let's just have a look. See if that goes in the right direction. That is going in the right direction, cool. But we wanted a little more than that. let's say like 1.9. And again, this is all just because we have like inconsistencies in our image, I imagine. There we go, look at that. That's pretty solid for the gun. The arms, not so much, but we'll fix the arms in a second here. I think we actually need to position the arms backwards a little bit too, but whatever, that's kind of fine-tuning that we can do later. So let's say MC arms offset right, and this is going to be the left, so we don't actually really need to initialize any of this stuff up here, do we? So anyways, we do need to pass those variables through though, so right, left, and then further down we're gonna have, so if we're on the right side, well, it will be business as usual, but just rename everything to right. It's a little bit confusing because it's, in this case, we're talking about the right side of the character instead of the left side, where it could be misconstrued as the right and left arm, and I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. That's kind of little things. Oops, copy that, and throw that there. Not his, it's this dot, and we want left. So now it's just a tweaking game, just to fiddle around with the numbers until we get it looking pretty solid. So again, I'm going to take away some for the left. Let's take away the same amount actually. So we went from 2.4 to 1.9, so we took away 0.5. Let's say 0.6 for this and see how that looks. Might work. Just out of the box. Whoa! Does not work. That's the wrong way. That's now he's just kind of doing like a chest out thing and magically making the gun float in front of his arms, but don't worry about it, we'll fix that. Let's say 1.7. Try going the other way. That didn't really work either. Okay. Let's just try adjusting it slowly then. 0.9 instead of 1.1. Oh, that's pretty close. Pretty close. A little much, so let's say just 1. Divided by 1 would just be math.py, so we don't actually need that at all, but let's see how that looks. Ooh, pretty close, pretty close. He's holding it a little high, but pretty close. And actually, it's still not quite pointing perfectly at the mouse, I'm just noticing now, so maybe let's just get that fixed up a little bit too. So 1.9 down to like 1.85 maybe? See how that looks. It's almost like it gets more accurate the further out you go. So I'm just gonna say that's pretty much good enough. Because actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we're calculating the angle from the center of his body, not from his shoulder, which probably is a mistake. But anyways, we're already offsetting for all that, so might as well just keep going for now. We can always log a issue for that to fix that up properly later, but I almost want to give him like a backwards running animation because it looks kind of funny the way it's doing it now. Nice. This is going to turn out real good. I'm happy with this. Cool. Anyways. Gotta try not to get obsessed with just sitting here playing the game, because that always happens to me. Alright. So, the arm offset, let's say divided by 1.05? I don't know. See how that looks. Did that go up or down? I'm sort of struggling to remember now. That went up, I think, so we want to go the other way. So we want to go 1.2 maybe. Alright. Whoops, no we don't. Okay, so what about divided by 0.9? I feel like dividing by 0.9 might give us something really wacky, because we're dividing by... We'll just see. Oh no, actually not bad. Pretty close. Let's say like 0.95. Hey, looking pretty good. I'm happy with that. I'm calling that good to go. Nice. Cool. Alright, so I guess with that out of the way, it's on to projectile logic. I mean, that would be the logical next step for me. Or it's either projectile logic, or we could try and fix the gun so that the idle animation actually works, because for some reason that wasn't working. So I'm gonna take a little tangent and try and fix that, I think. So, don't need that anymore. That was just for us testing. Either, because that's also old stuff. Would also make sense to get the touchscreen controls for this working, but let's just focus on the keyboard controls for now, and we'll come back to touchscreen controls. His shoulder is still kind of jutting out a little further than I would like, but we'll come back to that another time, I think. That'll be a little refinement later on. Okay, anyways, not playing your own game, just working on it. Alright, so... Yeah, right, so anyways, let's try and get that animation working, shall we? Yeah, right here, to do bug fix. Trying to play a bolt pistol animation errors for some reason. Even though we did do it more or less the same way as the way we did his core body. Let's split up our screen here, put that over there. Okay, so let's take a look at what we're doing to define the animation. So this is where we're loading in the bolt pistol, which is working because it's not erroring, and we see the bolt pistol in our game. We see the first frame of it anyways. Now, a little further down, we're creating the animation, and it could really just be as simple as we're just passing in the wrong frame numbers or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. So the prefix is idle. Let's just have a look at what's going on inside of that animation. source, assets, images, sprites, bolt pistol, frames, idle. 0, 1 through 4. And we're saying start on 1, end on 4, 0 pad 2, which is right, suffix is .png, and the prefix is idle. I wonder if we just need a different prefix, maybe. Maybe the prefix is used as a key somewhere as well, and it's getting confused and mixing up our different idle animations. We've had errors like that in the past, so that very well could be a thing. So yeah, let's try that. Let's see if that solves the problem, perhaps. Well, actually, let's just see what the problem is to begin with again, because I can't even remember, to be perfectly honest. So in theory, that would just play the animation, but I feel like it's gonna error. Yeah, okay, so cannot read property frame of undefined, which is like the most annoying error I've ever seen, but let's see. Okay, so let's say, okay, let's back it up. Let's open up that. You know, I'm gonna do this in the command line instead, because command line for life. So cd source / assets / images / sprites, and cd bolt pistol so move idle to idle dash, I don't know, idle dash bolt, or bolt pistol idle. How about that? Cool, so now we've just updated the frame. Now we just have to re-export via texture packer. Okay. Leave that for a minute because it's just going to error out if we run it as is. Texture packer, there we go. I feel like I've still got a bit of time left on my trial. I really hope so, because I have no money at the moment. 3 days left. Score. Alright. I feel like I should just next stream just do a sprite animating marathon and make as many texture packer files as I possibly can before that runs out. Oops, what am I doing? We do want to open bolt pistol, but actually, yeah, whatever. Let's just open bolt pistol and publish sprite sheet. Okay, did export at the right format, right? Pixel format, or texture format. That's what I want. PNG 8, cool. That PNG 8 is seriously a godsend. Sure, save. Now we'll just update this to bolt. Idle. I don't know. I really don't like. I mean, I hope it's the error and it's fixed, but yeah, part of me doesn't believe this is gonna work. But whatever. We'll try it. Okay, and load up our dev server once more. Okay. Fingers crossed, or one finger, whatever's the lucky one, I don't know. 2 fingers, 1 finger, I don't know. Hopefully this works. Even if this doesn't work, we've already gotten a lot done this stream, so I'm pretty pleased. Get the console open so we can check for imminent errors. Yeah, still that same, the devil's error. Cannot read property frame of undefined. You bastard. Okay, further debugging is required. Let's just confirm that indeed our, what's it called, our atlas file updated, because that could also be a problem if the atlas file didn't update. But I think it should have, because we republished. So let's see here. images, sprites, packed, bolt pistol.json. Yeah, bolt pistol idle, there it is, right there. It still weirds me out that 2 is coming before 1. I really, like, I know this is hacky and we shouldn't have to edit this file because it should just be auto-generated, but, you know, maybe I did something weird when I was importing it, so let's just try this and see if this saves the day. Switch those frames around. No, still the same error. Bastard. Okay. Close that so we don't crash the stream again. Okay, I have another theory that probably won't work, but just give it a try. I'm gonna try and just re-export that all together, totally different. Make a whole new sprite for that. Let's just say these are our sprite, and our frames. Just confirm. Yes. Yes, that's what we want. So copy you. I'm just going to call this very creatively bolt pistol 2. mkdir frames bolt pistol idle. And if this doesn't work, I'm pretty much pooped. I have no idea why this doesn't work. Packed. So let's bust open texture packer again. Man, 3 days left. Be really good if my current freelance project comes through, but till that time, let's go like this. Use PNG8 format, thank you very much. Or should we have just dragged in the frames directory? I think we should have just dragged in the frames directory. Let's restart that real quick. Close without saving. Texture packer again. Oops. Because in my mind, just doing this all from scratch maybe I misconfigured something way back when I was making that sprite, so who knows? Stuff happens, right? Not there. Assets, images. Pistol 2, frames. Or, yeah, frames. This one. There we go. Cool. Yes, use PNG8. Now it does still, that is still funny to me that 2 comes before, like 1 is at the end, but whatever. I'm trying not to get too hung up on that because I don't think that's the issue here. Not bolt pistol packed anymore. We want bolt pistol 2 packed, and we'll call this bolt pistol 2. Okay, so there we go. In theory, we have a new, right, yeah, let's save this as not you. Call this bolt pistol 2.tps. Good. And if we're really lucky, it'll just work, but do you feel lucky? Do you guys feel lucky? I don't know if I feel lucky. Alright. Nope. Still cannot read property frame of undefined. The freaking error from hell. What is this error? Come on. It's like the most nondescript error. Well, it's not nondescript, but it's just... I'm just mad. This error makes me angry. I've seen this far too many times now. You'd think I would understand what it means by now, but I don't. Alright. Let's actually debug this bad boy a little bit. So, set current frame. So frame is undefined, yeah? Or pause it in our debugger. Boink. Okay. Cannot read property frame of undefined. So animation frame is undefined. And that's being passed in, and it's undefined when it's being passed in. Let's go up the stack to update frame. This is where we're passing it in, still undefined. It's also coming in as an argument here. So we need to go up another level. Update frame. Frame is undefined here. So frame this dot frames is an array, presumably supposed to be containing the array, the frames, but it's an array of 0 as it stands. So why is that 0? Where is that defined? I feel like I've done this debugging rigmarole like 1,000 times by now, but let's just go right to the top. So this dot get frames, pass in a texture manager, which apparently manager is not defined. That's weird. Get nothing's defined in this instance. Maybe this isn't actually where it's being defined. Oh no, animation manager right there, but manager is not defined. What? That's wacky. Okay. Another little thing we can play with here. Let's comment that out because I believe that's the line that actually trips this error. And instead of, we're just gonna log it. We're gonna say this dot bolt pistol dot anims. And oh, of course that's not going to reload because we're paused in our debugger. Uncheck our breakpoint and resume, and now it should reload. Okay. So our animation. Sorry viewers, I know this is a bit tedious. I'm just really want this animation to work because I think it'll make the gun look so much cooler when he's holding it with a little electric animation along the side. So let's see what's in the animation manager, texture manager, list. So bolt pistol, what are you? Frame total is 5, which seemed weird to me before, but I did some checking on that and it's always one more than the actual number of frames, so I don't think that's our issue here. But so the texture's frames exist. It's being defined properly. Okay. What else could this be? Like, if this takes much longer, if this goes any more than 10 minutes, I'm gonna move on and just I'll figure it out later, but yeah, I would really like to get this working. Oh, hold on. You know what I just realized? We didn't even update our preloader. We're still loading the old one. So all that updating actually was for naught. Where is it? Bolt pistol here. So sprite slash bolt pistol 2 slash bolt pistol 2. Save that. Delete that. And uncomment that. And let's see if this does the trick. No, same error. I figured it would be. Bastard. Bastard. Yeah, you know what? Bugger this. We'll figure this out some other time. I don't know what the hell was going on with that stupid shit, but it's not working, so just gonna move on for now. Move on to the fun stuff, i.e. projectiles. Oh, but now we've lost our gun entirely. Okay, well that's great. Let's just put it all back to the original one. Oh, you know what? Wait. There's one last thing we can try, because I think I updated it here, but I didn't update it where we're setting. Oh, but maybe I don't need to, because it's got a key. We're setting the same key. Let's just try changing this key as well. Bolt pistol 2. Bolt pistol 2. Okay, change it there. Change it here. Bolt pistol 2. I don't know why this would work, but you never know. Oh, it's saying it can't be loaded. That's funny. Doesn't exist, really? Okay. Why can't it be loaded? Now I wonder. Oh, actually I do know why. Okay. Let's give that a second, because it's going to reopen a new tab, and that's not what we want right now. Well, actually, whatever. Just let it do its thing, and there it is. Okay. Because in our preloader, once again, we're still referencing the old file, the old JSON file, where we want bolt pistol 2 now. It could work, it might work, I don't know if it's gonna work, but if it doesn't work, we're moving on. Okay, so that's working, but now if we actually enable the animation, is it gonna work? That's the real question. I think that's an error. Yeah, that's the same bastard of an error that's been plaguing us this entire time. So, bugger it, we're gonna do something else. Figure that out it some other time. I don't know why the hell that's not working. Gotta ping my main man Ted on that one. He knows what he's doing with texture packer and all that business, Atlas files and everything. He knows what he's doing a lot better than I know what I'm doing, so he might know how to figure this out. He might see what's wrong with it right away. Anyways, let's get on to the cool stuff, shall we? The fun stuff, aka the angular shooting now, as well as the... So I guess we have to decide, how is this gun actually going to shoot? Like, what's it going to look like when it shoots? I was thinking it could do some kind of like a cool bolt shot, like an electric, like a bolt of electricity like arcs to the whatever you're shooting at, and like maybe even bounces around between targets. I don't know. There's a lot of unanswered questions. Hey, so like we need to know, like, A, are these guns going to be upgradable? Why don't we just get like a basic shooting down for this one? Like, we'll just do a very, very basic bullet, and not worry about it too much right now. So yeah, all right. Let's fire up GIMP, and let's draw our bullet. Handy dandy tablet. Whoa, GIMP is suddenly gigantic? That's odd. Why is it huge now? What's going on with that? Funny. Hopefully the whole program isn't ginormous. The program's looking normal. Funny. Let's just make it like 100 by 100. Alright. Okay, let's make it like a blue kind of something like that. And we'll say airbrush it, so it's like, it's airbrush, right? Yeah. No, the opacity is way low on that. Let's turn that up to 100. Again, it would be kind of cool to animate this, but seeing as we've been having some pretty rotten luck with getting animations to load in properly and work, I think we're just going to make this one static for the sake of testing. Or we can make it rotate or something to give it like a cool, some sort of an effect, but... Cool. That's all relatively centered, and yeah, sure, that'll work. As a, we'll just call it dummy projectile. Put it in games, no place like, source, assets, images, sprites, or dummy, how about, yeah, dummy projectile, cool. Don't really need the GIMP file for that one. So now we got to load it in. Load it in with the other dummy ones. Dummy projectile. Call it dummy projectile. Same as the others. Same format anyhow. So dummy projectile, we've got it loaded in. Now let's initialize it. I suppose, yeah, it would all be part of the character container. That makes sense. Pardon me. Let's see. So to me, it makes sense to make another container within the container that holds all of the projectiles, because then we can do like a group collision test for all of them versus bad guys or whatever in the future. So it doesn't need to be a part of this container per se. Well, yeah, so I guess it doesn't have to be a container in the container, but it makes sense to be all the projectiles in a container. That's what I'm thinking. So let's see. Projectiles. Config.scene.add. Let's just do one to begin with. Dot sprite in this case. Should it be physics or should it just be config? Because we don't want, no, I think we do want physics, but we're going to disable the gravity on it. So we'll say config.scene.physics.add sprite, and it'll be, or would it make sense for projectiles to live in their own class, I wonder? That would probably make more sense later down the road, but I think for now we'll just keep it simple and we'll have it all in the same thing. So we'll start it at this, what we're using. I shouldn't keep copying this. I should really define these as constants, but anyways, for now, it's fine. We can clean this up later. Well, here we go. So we'll make it in with his, put it in with his shoulder, and we'll say, what was the key? Dummy projectile, I believe. So let's just see what this does. Make sure it's all working so far. Oh, that's funny. Suddenly our background color is working correctly. That's super weird. Literally no idea what we changed to make that work. Good. It's always great when things work for some reason that you don't have any idea what it is. Programming. Okay. So I wasn't seeing our big kaboomy thing. Oh, but that's probably because we're adding it to the scene. We're not adding it to the container. So let's say, let's add it at the same position as where we're adding the container, which is config.x and config.y. Oopsie daisies. Oh boy. Config.y. Cool. Literally no idea what made the background color change back to yellow. Hey, there we go. There's our bullet, and it falls right through the map. That's fine. We haven't enabled any kind of collision on it, and nor are we going to, so that's good. Ooh, or I wonder, would this be a good time to start using the phaser particle systems? That's something I've never used before. emitter. Hello. Yes. Angled emitter. That's basically what we're making, actually. Cool. Neato. Let's take a look at the source for this and see what they're doing. Interesting. That's a little different than how I was imagining it, but you know, I'm gonna do it just the way I know how for now, but that's something to take a look at in the future, is perhaps using the particle emitter system. Yeah. Anyways, so in fact, I don't even know if we need to add it in the constructor. I think it makes more sense to add it on click. So let's do that. So we want dum-doodly-doo. Roundabout where we're doing our flip and rotational logic, we'll say gun projectile logic. I'll just put dummy in brackets because this isn't going to be the final logic, but it'll be our logic for now. So if mouse pointer dot is down, imagine that constant exists. So if mouse pointer dot is down, we'll say this dot scene dot add, or dot physics dot add. We want to add it at the same location as our character, so this dot x, this dot y for now. We're gonna have to offset that and adjust that according to where the rotation of the gun and yada yada, but for now just we'll make it the same x and y as our character, our container, and it is dummy projectile. So now with any luck, when we click, it should just drop giant projectiles, and again there, now it's back to black. See, I don't understand this at all. So this .scene.physics.add is not a function. Okay. Isn't it this .scene in here, or is it still config.scene? I'm just gonna log. Alright, you know what? Console.log this. This is going to do two things. It's going to tell us A, if the click event is working, which I think it is, and B, yeah, okay, so the click event is working, but this .physics, or this .scene.physics isn't working. So so yeah, scene is correct. .physics .add. Well, that's annoying. Why is that then not working? Did I spell physics wrong? Very possible. Physics. New. That's very frustrating when stuff like this seemingly works, and then, well, whatever. Let's move that up here so it logs first and then errors second. Maybe I'm just passing in the arguments wrong? Yeah, that's funny. So this dot scene. Yeah, dot physics. Why the hell isn't that working? I've got 35 minutes left to figure this out. What if we just do this.scene.add instead of physics. Would that work, I wonder? Nope. Am I just using the syntax completely wrong? Is that what's going on? Oh, dot. It'd help if I specified what I was adding, wouldn't it? So this.scene.physics.add.sprite. My bad, everybody. Dumb rookie error on my part. This ought to work. Boom. 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 Boom, 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 boom. I mean, it's coming out of his head. It's not coming out of the gun. The direction we're pointing the gun makes no difference, but I'm still pretty happy with that. So let's see here. Yeah, now how are we going to do this? We do need to put it in a container, I think. So let's say... Let's see, config.scene.add yeah, so let's make a new container for down here maybe. We'll say yeah, right here I think. We'll say add container for bullets. And we'll go we'll say this dot bullet container equals this dot config dot scene dot physics dot not physics, sorry, this dot scene dot add dot container, but well, yeah, now what are the order of that again? It'd be the same as super. So the scene, which we've got the X and the Y, and then the array of stuff inside of it. So well, for now it'll just be config dot X, config dot Y, and an empty array to begin with. Actually, no, that's fine. Actually, why don't we say, I don't know if this is going to be the most efficient way of doing it. There might be better ways, but if we set it to the top left corner of the world, then in theory, we can just put the coordinates of the projectiles exactly where they would be. So we'll say this dot we'll say const new bullet equals that, and we'll say this dot bullet container what is it? Dot, would it be just dot push? I don't know. Let's see. Phaser 3 add sprite to container. Oh, container.add, that's what we want. Dot add new bullet. So we'll say, yeah, the rest of that should all be fine, right? So in theory, this is going to work the exact same as it did before, only... And suddenly it changed the background again. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Funny, it's kind of... We're going to want to layer that a little differently, but... Anyways, the point is it's working. Let's scale that down for one thing. So new bullet dot set scale 0.25. Oops. 0.25. So that should make them smaller. And miraculously change the background color again. Okay. So what next do we need to do? Next, I guess we need to position it at the end of the gun, which I guess would be as simple as saying new bullet dot set position this dot bolt pistol dot x, this dot bolt pistol dot y. It's this angular movement that I know is going to be tricky, but we got it. We can do it. We've come this far. That's funny. It's oh dear. Oh, because that position must be relative to the container it's in here. So actually, why don't we just set it to this dot x plus this should offset for the container's the position. So this dot y plus, is that another try? Yeah, okay. I mean, it's now coming out of his crotch, but I mean, or his butt. I am a child, people. Don't worry about it. I'm a child. Rocket farts. Boom. All right. So I'm not really sure why that's not positioning it quite where we want. Oh, maybe because of the scaling. Scaling might have messed it up, kinda. That could be part of it, but whatever. We're probably not gonna get through all of this in this stream, but we've already accomplished a lot, so I'm happy for tonight. That's also lagging pretty hard now when we if we're dropping a lot of them. So yeah, that particle emitter might be the way to go to prevent this lag, because I'm not sure that they all need to be like legit sprites as much, because maybe I'm thinking the particles probably have a lot less overhead in the physics world here than sprites do. I mean, it would make sense because that's like what the particles should be designed for, right? Is that you can make a lot of them. Let's just take a look at this. Maybe if we go, I know this is going to be wacky, but if we go divided by 4, or not 4, maybe divided by 2, because we're scaling them down by half. So divided by 2, that might get the offset to be more like his shoulder area, which is what we're kind of going for. JL says, did you get help with the game? For this stream? No, not yet. I mean, yeah, we've had, actually, sorry, yes, we have had a bit of help. E-Man made the preloading scene a little while ago, and our buddy Ted put together, he packaged up the sprites for this guy using Texture Packer on GitHub. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they've both contributed a bit on GitHub now. So yeah, like I was saying, E-Man made the titles, the preloader scene, and or like the preloading bar, and Ted fixed a bug where this guy wasn't showing up on mobile properly. He was just showing up as a black box. Anyways, my hunch was correct about the placement of that. It is now. So anyways, so what I'm thinking, it's looking a lot better. Thanks, man. Yeah, we've got the gun, the arm animation and all that working pretty well now. I'm just trying to get some projectiles working as well. I don't know if we're going to manage to get all the projectiles down this stream, because I've only got 22 minutes left, but we just need to get the velocity, the angular velocity. That's the tricky part. How far are we from production? Who knows, to be honest. This is really, at this stage, I would love this to be my full-time project, in which case I could actually come up with some proper deadlines, but as it stands right now, this is still very much a hobby project, and unfortunately my freelance work has to come first so that I can pay the bills and live and eat and all that fun stuff. But I don't know, but you can play the Bleeding Edge anytime you want on the whatchamacallit, the demo, the live demo. I'll throw this in the chat for you guys. Anywho, let's see if we can get that angular momentum, or the angular velocity. I'm straight up resorting to Google here. Angular velocity. Angular velocity right there. That was easier than I thought. This is Phaser 2, but we might be able to use... We might be able to get away with using body.angular velocity. No, wait, can we just set angular velocity? And then... Okay, let's try, see if this exists. Alright, so... Woo, the lag. It's probably because we've got about a bazillion sprites living in our world right now. We're obviously gonna have to have a way of cleaning those up too, otherwise it's gonna lag out something fierce, but let's see. So... new bullet dot set. This is a total guess here, but... Or would it be body? It would probably be body dot set angular velocity. I'll just try set angular velocity. And I'm assuming if the set rotation is in radians, this also would be in radians. So let's make it the same. Let's just make it negative rad, which is the radians that we calculated further up here. If this works, I will be amazed. Controls feel a lot better and run smoother. Good. Good, man. I'm glad. So that didn't seem to work. It's not throwing an error, though, so that's funny. So apparently that function exists, but I'm just not using it correctly, perhaps? Just a total shot in the dark here. What happens if we times that by 1,000? Probably nothing, because changing the... yeah. Well, all the same. Getting close. Yeah, this is way more intense than what we need. This is like, we just need a linear path. Oh, add follower? Woo. No, that's not something that we've used before. Path follower, cool. That's, I mean, that's sick. But that's not really what we're going for here, I don't think. I'm just going to go back to the angular velocity. I want to see an example of it working. That is what we want, so... Oh, velocity from angle, okay. I'm gonna go back to the Phaser 3 docs here and just make sure these functions exist in Phaser 3. Let's say Phaser 3, what was the function called? Velocity from angle. Oh, velocity from rotation? I mean, if... Oh yeah, rotate bullets position to... Yeah, gun. This is exactly what we're doing. Let's see. Put this in your update and fire repeatedly. Not quite what we're going for, I don't think. How are they loading in HTML stuff? Now I'm very confused, so new. Angular acceleration? That's much along the same lines as what we were looking for before, but... Oh no, that's... No, that's not what we want. This is really what we want right here, so I'm just gonna... Yeah. So, okay. So I guess first things first, let's set. So we're setting the position, let's set the rotation of the new bullet to match our negative rad, right? Then we'll try and see if this... Yeah, I want to... So velocity from angle. Go on. Load, 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 load. Okay. Velocity from angle. You know what? I'm going to take a quick look at the particle emitters one more time. This seems like a good use case for particle emitters. How sick does that look? So we got to create an emitter. Which, okay, so let's, yeah, we're going to rebuild this from the ground up in 12 minutes. No big deal. So just comment that out for now. And comment out that. And in between core and... So behind bolt pistol, I guess. So we'll say here, we'll say, well, let's call it bullet. How do you spell emitter? Like you would expect. Bullet emitter. Or, yeah, bullet emitter. So let's go like this and we'll say const bullet emitter equals So he's just saying particles dot, but that's, we're not going to have access to that. So good lord. Let's have a look at the lab examples of particle emitters. This will probably help us out hugely. Would that be in physics? No. Particle. Okay. Good start. Or, you know what? No, hold on. This linked us right to it, didn't it? Yeah, not really that hidden. Well, fine, but I can't find it, so. Angled emitter. Yeah, so if we've got an angled emitter, this is effectively exactly what we want. We just have a variable angle is all. Oh, damn, so you can just pass in... Oh, interesting. Okay, so you say this dot add particles. So, okay, so we'll say config.scene dot add particles. Now we've got fair bit of configure. Oh no, sorry, not yet. So I guess we just pass in the texture that we're using, which in this case is the, what was it? Dummy particle? No, dummy, let's see. Dummy projectile. Dummy projectile. All right. We don't have to specify an X and Y? Okay, so that's where the create emitter comes in. So why don't we not assign that to bullet emitter? We'll assign the actual emitter to the emitter, which makes more sense. For now, let's just lift all that. Except we need a reference to this. Call that bullets. And we'll say bullets dot, oops, bullets dot create emitter. Frame we don't really need to specify because I don't think we need to specify. We'll comment it out just in case it yells at us, but oh, that's cool. You can set a lifespan. This is pretty neat. Blend mode and wow, blend mode, cool. Cool, man, this is wicked stuff. Of course it's gonna error. So, and it's not a very helpful error, as is always the case. GameObject.once is not a function. Let's just see which part of it is erroring. Bullet emitter is not defined. What? Oh, right. Say bullets. So in theory, this is not going to error. And it does. What? Oh, shoot. Yeah, hold on. Now that's... Okay, we can't... Yeah, no. So putting it in that isn't going to work just now. Okay. We'll just add it straight into the scene. And hope that it works. Okay, so no errors. That's good. Okay. Now our emitter is will it error? The best game in the world. Hey, it did. Whoa, there it is. Hey, that's cool. Look at that. The colors change and stuff too. Like that blend mode must actually be, yeah, wow. Okay, cool. But there is our particles. It's in a fixed position at the moment, which is not what we want, but we can fix that. Let's try taking out that blend mode for now and just see if it looks like if we keep the blue. Okay, so falling and yep, there's our blue. Cool. Now we just need to reposition it so it's on the gun, and also not shooting all the time would be good. So let's see. So that's easy enough. That's X and Y. And again, these should be actual constants. I shouldn't just be copying these, but for the sake of our little demo, our little DIY, whatever. Or no, actually, that's relative to the container. So we want config.x and config.y. And we're probably going to have to continuously reposition this unless we put it in the container, but we're doing some fancy flip logic on the container, so I don't know that we're actually going to be able to do that. To get them to rotate or flip left and right. Okay. So let's just say, well, actually, since we're not putting this in the container, we don't have to specify, we don't have to define it before the super call. So we can go down here for the container for our bullets, whatever. Except now it's not a container, it is a particle emitter. This dot bullet emitter is that. And cool. Now let's just reposition our bullet emitter. We'll say this dot bullet emitter dot set position, this dot x, this dot y. Now of course that's not going to be quite right. We're going to have to offset that for the gun and the rotation and all that stuff, but for now let's just see if it now is shooting out of his head when we hold the mouse down. Cool. Haha. Not bad. And the performance on that is a lot better than before too. So, okay, yeah, we definitely want to be using particles here, not whatever the sprites that we were using before. That makes way more sense. Okay, so anyways, now we need to position it so the start is right at the tip of the gun in whatever rotation and angle and side it's facing. We also need it so it's not shooting all the time. So let's see if they have an example of conditional shooting. Multiple emitters, follow sprites, fireballs, new. Well, you know what? We are 3 minutes away from my D-Day, my D-time, my deadline. So I think I'm going to have to wrap things up there. But I'm going to get this online so you guys can take a look at the source code in your own time. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with what we got accomplished today. That is a lot closer than what it was before. It's kind of, I mean, it's shooting directly out of his head. It's not shooting from his gun, but we got the gun working. We got a lot working today, actually. Boink. Very cool. All right, guys, well, I hope you had as much fun as I did on that stream. I'm pretty pleased with our results. We managed to get the angle of his arm pointing at the gun. We managed to get that logic to flip left and right. And yeah, I think that's quite a good success. Great success. So thank you for joining me, and I hope to see you next time. Until then, keep it real. Peace out.